Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and it looks like we are now live for an evening stream. There's just so much Manchester United news, so many stories, I've got so much to talk about that I thought I might as well do an evening stream for, tonight's video. Plus, I think you guys seem to like the evening streams because I can read your comments, chat to you. Although we've got so much to talk about, we've got to talk about Raphael Varane, the future of Manchester United, the Glazers, the transfer plan, and all of that. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe down below, share this stream, of course, and all of that. Like, subscribe, share, get your thoughts in down below. But there's so much to talk about that I am going to get straight into it in a second. And of course, put your live chats down below. So what exactly am I going to be talking about in this stream, guys? Well, I'm going to be talking about Raphael Varane to Manchester United. There's a lot of news regarding Manchester United potentially signing Raphael Varane. We're also going to be talking about Ed Woodward's replacement. There's a lot of news about someone potentially replacing Ed Woodward. However, that person potentially replacing Ed Woodward is actually someone already in the club, so it's just like Woodward 2. We're going to be talking about Glazers out. There's a story that the Glazers could buy players like Haaland, Sancho, Rice to try and distract us from the fact that they tried to ruin the club. They're putting a PR spin on it. So we'll be talking about Woodward's replacement, the Glazers, Manchester United summer transfer window, and more. Get your comments in down below. But I obviously will start with the overriding story on Raphael Varane to Manchester United. Raphael Varane's obviously a Real Madrid centre-back, got a year left on his contract after this summer. So obviously this time next year, you could get him on a free. And I think there'll be a lot of clubs in for him. Obviously, David Alaba has gone to Real Madrid on a free. By the way, if you weren't aware of that, David Alaba has joined Real Madrid on a free. So it looks like Real Madrid are going to be willing to sell Raphael Varane. And the thing that makes Man United stand out from a lot of clubs in for Varane is that most clubs are just going to wait a year and get Varane on a free, whereas Man United are willing to pay 50-60 million to get Raphael Varane. He's a quick young centre-back that Manchester United are very, very interested in signing. And Fabrizio Romano actually came out and said some things that I will read out to you guys, and then I will address some of you guys in live chat. And oh god, I just played myself. I just clicked on the wrong tab. But basically, what Fabrizio Romano, Tier 1 journalist, really reliable guy, came out and said is there is still no agreement between Raphael Varane and Real Madrid regarding a new contract. His deal is expiring in June 2022. So Fabrizio Romano comes out and says like Raphael Varane is probably not going to sign a new deal at Real Madrid. Basically, I think we kind of know that Varane isn't looking to sign a new deal at Real Madrid. Real Madrid has just signed David Alaba on the free, so it looks like Raphael Varane could be a very much incoming person. And some other reliable journalists in Konstantin Ekner said there are ongoing talks for the transfer of Raphael Varane to Manchester United. Ekner basically said that Man United and Raphael Varane are having talks about a possible transfer to Manchester United. There are talks going on. Obviously, we know Manchester United are talking FC, monitoring FC. We did learn that from the summer. But Etna's saying that, there's talks going on with Man United and Raphael Varane. And obviously Fabrizio Romano said that, Raphael Varane, there's no agreement with him in Real Madrid. It's unlikely that he will sign a contract. What's really interesting to add to that is Perez, Florentino Perez, another twat, a bit like Joel Glazers, has basically said, Varane, if the players don't want to stay at Real Madrid, they can leave. He's basically gone out and said, Varane, he can leave, which I think is really, really interesting. But hello to everybody joining the chat. Just put your live chats in down below. I'm actually going to quickly share this stream on Twitter just so we can get a few more viewers in. We've only got 10 people at the moment. So if you're watching right now, please just make sure you hit that like button, subscribe down below. And yeah, I'm just going to quickly share this video on Twitter and then I will continue talking. But Fabrizio Romano, Perez and Ekner basically talked about pretty much Varane to Manchester United. And I think, I don't really want to be sitting here talking about transfer news when the overriding issue at Manchester United is the owners, the Glazers, the twats at the Glazers. I don't 100% want to be here talking about this transfer news because, there's a likely chance that, it could be a PR spin from the Glazers and all of that. But, the news about Raphael Varane is very promising. Hey, I'm watching from Alès, France. I'm from Manchester. Hello to everybody joining. Let me just read this live chat. Do you think the Glazers will sell Manchester United or they'll made a marquee signing to try and calm us down for a little while? So the discussion point of this video that I will really be getting into and talking about is that the Glazers potentially will have a big spending spree this summer. Now, the Glazers owe us a big spending spree because in the last 3 years, we've had shit transfer windows. I think the last time we had a good transfer window was when we signed Di Maria, let's be honest. Manchester United fans are owed a good transfer window. The Glazers have the money for it. It's likely that if the Glazers stay, they will give us a big transfer window of Sancho, Rice, Haaland, Varane, Koundé to try and distract the fans from the fact that they're horrible. Because after last summer's transfer window, which was ridiculous, our last transfer window was awful. After the Super League collapse, after the Glazers causing so many problems, fans got into Old Trafford. Congrats to those fans, not Old Trafford, the Carrington training ground. There's a lot of pressure on the Glazers to sell. There's a lot of news and reports that the Glazers are considering selling. Woodward's gone. It's going to be hard to find a replacement that can be their puppet like Woodward. Maybe the Glazers can sell, but I think it's one of the situations that the Glazers are either going to give us a big transfer window and try and distract us from the fact that they've ruined the club for the last 15 years, or they will sell. And I will talk about the Glazers selling Manchester United. There was a really interesting story from the Athletic regarding what it would take for the Glazers to sell Manchester United. Obviously a very reliable source, and there's a lot of news that the Glazers maybe are looking to sell. One of the big six owners is looking to sell, and I think it's between Kroenke and the Glazers. But I think, the protests going on at the moment, it's very likely that the Glazers could sell Manchester United. But if they don't sell Manchester United, there's rumours that, they will try and buy the fans and have a great transfer window and actually spend money for a change. And it's like, if we have a great transfer window, it doesn't change the fact that the Glazers are still here. It doesn't change the fact that the Glazers are fucked over this club. So we could, well, in fact, have a great transfer window. But for me, it doesn't change the fact what the Glazers have done. One good transfer window after 7 shit ones, after 7-8 years without a title, for me, doesn't make up for what the Glazers have done. If the Glazers want to make up for what they've done, well, they can fucking leave the club on a free. The transfer we all want to see is the Glazers leave Man United on a free. But yeah, I'll get into more of the Raphael Varane story. Obviously, there's news. So Christian Falk, very, very reliable journalist. He's one of those, when it comes to Germany, he's tier 1, but I think when it comes to England, he is tier 2. Christian Falk, again, he's a very, very reliable journalist. And he says Tuchel is interested in Varane and Manchester United are also interested in Varane. So he's confirmed that Manchester United and Chelsea are interested in Varane. However, Chelsea are better at business, but Chelsea are better at approaching their business. So it is more likely that he would probably go for Chelsea if both of us are into the player. But again, maybe new sporting director. Man United have got a director of football. Man United want to apologise to the fans. Maybe Varane is how they do that. I'm pretty sure Liverpool pretty much announced signing Konate to try and win the fans back over. This guy says, I'm not sure what we should do a business with Perez. Real Madrid always take advantage from us. He may sell Varane for us for a future deal like Bruno. Yeah, that's the thing. You don't want to do a deal with someone like Perez. I completely agree. David Hunt says the Glazers could do the opposite and spend nothing this summer at all. You know what? The Glazers spent nothing this summer. I think that we would find a way to get them out. We found a way to get Ed Woodward out of our club. We found a way to get a lot of people we don't want out of our club. We will find a way to get the Glazers out of our club. We will. There's the protest 3 p.m. on Saturday. If you live around the Manchester area, go to those protests. I agree you should. Alice, Kieran Maguire, football money expert, said in an interview today, 50+1 won't work at United as United is a company registered in Cayman Islands, AU. Yeah, I did hear about that actually. I'd love the 51+1 rule to come into place. I'd like Boris Johnson to find a way to work it, but it's going to be really hard to put that kind of rule in effect, especially with the money involved and all these sort of laws and legislations. We will talk about the future of Manchester United, the Glazers selling, the 50+1 more rule and more in this video. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe down below. But we will be talking about Varane and Koundé to Manchester United. We'll be talking about the likes of Declan Rice and Sancho. But obviously, the big news is the Varane to Manchester United likely. Real Madrid are going to sell Varane. Man United are in for Varane. Talks is coming on with Man United and Varane. That's the big news. But for me, the overriding news is we have to get the Glazers out of Manchester United. So there are protests at 3 p.m. And I highly recommend that you go. Now, the Manchester Evening News actually did a pretty good story regarding Raphael Varane to Manchester United. So I will read that out. They say Manchester United have a free one to sign Raphael Varane this transfer window. They basically said Real Madrid are resigned to Raphael Varane leaving the club and are so desperate to attain a fee that they will sell him. Real Madrid will sell Varane this summer so they get money for it, basically. Maybe we could use Varane in a Pogba swap deal. Pogba's got a year left on his contract. Varane's got a year left on his contract. I want Pogba to stay. But if we get Varane for Pogba, they've both got a year left on this contract. Fair enough, we do need a centre-back. But I, again, would love Pogba to stay. The Manchester Evening News said that Manchester United have a free one to sign Raphael Varane this summer after Real Madrid president Florentino Perez all but confirmed he's prepared to sell the defender. They've signed Alaba. Perez is prepared to sell Varane. Varane, 27, is approaching the final year of his Madrid contract, and Perez told El Ligero some of the players will have to be sold, and if someone does not want to be at Real Madrid, then they will leave. Rafael Varane does not want to be at Manchester United. Perez has basically said Rafael Varane will leave Manchester United, will leave Real Madrid, sorry. Sources close to Varane say some clubs are only prepared to wait until next year to sign the Frenchman without having to pay a fee. But Perez, the Real Madrid greedy bastard owner who was in charge of the Super League, is so desperate to get money for Varane that he's basically willing to sell Varane this summer. Obviously, Manchester United are one of the teams that are actually happy to go and pay a fee of 50, 60 million so they can get Varane this summer. And the Manchester Evening News revealed last month that Manchester United are long-term advisor of Varane, and his fee is around £60 million. Real promised the club captaincy to Varane with their contract offer, but the centre-back is open to leaving as he believes there is disparity between his salary offer and what his best-paid teammates are earning. And we know Man United are willing to pay big transfers for a player like Varane. Let me know in the comment section down below, what are your thoughts on Rafael Varane to Manchester United? Again, I don't want to distract this. Obviously, this is a transfer podcast. This is a transfer live show talking about Man United and transfers. Obviously, the Glazers need to leave Manchester United. The overriding problem is the Glazers at Manchester United. So we will talk about the Glazers and the Athletic, and a really interesting story that came up from Athletic, which I'm going to get into. But Varane to Manchester United, I think it could happen. I think it would maybe try and be the Glazers' way of saying sorry to us, which for me is not good enough. But Konstantin Eckert, reliable journalist, said there's talks going on between Varane and Manchester United. Fabrizio Romano said that Varane is probably not going to stay at Real Madrid. Very reliable journalist. And Perez says he's willing to sell Varane. Christian Falk, again a reliable journalist, said that Manchester United are interested in Varane. And Samuel Luckhurst, another journalist, came out and said Manchester United want an experienced centre-half to partner Harry Maguire in the summer transfer window, and Varane has been long-standing target of the club. Varane fits into United's ideal age brackets of 23 to 28 for targets. Varane, I think, is 27. But the thing about Rafael Varane is, he's similar age to Maguire, but he has that pace. And I think we know that Man United need a centre-back, but more importantly, a pacey centre-back. I think we know that Lindelof and Maguire, they're decent centre-backs, but because they've got no pace, they let players run at them. They can get mugged off by bloody Burnley. That's how slow they are, which I think is really, really interesting. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd like Varane, but again, I think it's between Man United and Chelsea. But again, you just don't know what the Glazers are going to do this summer. There's rumours that the Glazers are going to sell, and then there's rumours that the Glazers are going to have a big summer to try and distract the fans from the fact that they're awful human beings. Now, the Athletic, a very, very reliable source who gets their information from Manchester United, said that it would cost £4 billion to get the Glazers out of Manchester United. Now, that's the sad truth. If the Glazers leave Manchester United and sell Manchester United, they need £4 billion. Is there anyone out there that's really going to pay £4 billion to take over Manchester United? That's a very much too much amount of money that, it almost seems unlikely that Man United the Glazers will be able to sell Manchester United. Look, it's like maybe they're looking at selling it. Woodward's gone, but to get Manchester United, you're going to have to pay £4 billion. And that does give me the overriding fear that, the Glazers, are going to stay. Do we want the Glazers to stay? No. Do we want the Glazers to leave on a free and sell the club for free? Of course we fucking do. Do we want the 50+1 rule? Of course we do. Let me just read a few more live chats before I get into the Glazers and all the other news. Good defender, but it's not happening, I'm afraid. It's going to be a long Sava and flop at the end. The thing is, that's what I'm worried about. We are probably going to sign a centre-back. Would it be Varane? Would it be Koundé? Would it be Pau Torres? But it wouldn't surprise me if Man United go for Varane, get rejected, go for Koundé, won't pay the price, and we end up with Pau Torres. United Extra Time says Varane, Rice, and Basuma would be good options. Again, Basuma is a player that maybe we could negotiate James Garner to go Brighton alone, and we sign Basuma. Would Varane be a loan or a purchase? Varane would be a purchase. The only thing about Varane is Real Madrid's situation with Varane is the same situation we have with Paul Pogba. And I don't want to sell Paul Pogba, but I ask you this now. Paul Pogba is probably not going to stay at Manchester United if he wants to leave. Would you trade Paul Pogba for Rafael Varane? Let me know in the live chat. If you're not watching live, let me know down below. But that is kind of the situation with Varane. It's very like Paul Pogba's situation at Man United. He doesn't want to stay, so Real Madrid are going to leave him, but they want to sell him this summer so he doesn't go on a free and they can actually get money for him. Would you swap Paul Pogba for Varane? That's a big question. Let me know down below. Talking of players that Manchester United need, I think we all know we need a quick centre-back to go next to Maguire. We also need a CDM. There's Rice, there's Basuma, there's Ndidi. There's a lot of players we've been linked with. And obviously we need an attacker. We've been linked to the likes of Sancho. We've been linked to the likes of Haaland. Now, talking of striker, it looks like Edinson Cavani could be leaving Manchester United, which is the same. Club sources think Edinson Cavani is likely to leave Manchester United in the summer. Cavani has no issues with United, but is desperate to turn to South America and hates the English climate. Apparently, Cavani wants to basically return to South America. Beaver's family doesn't like the English climate. That's sort of the latest coming in about Cavani and all of that. And I think Cavani will leave in the summer. Now, the thing is, if Cavani leaves in the summer, Manchester United are going to have to buy an attacker. Will that attacker be Erling Haaland? That's a big question. No, it probably won't be. Haaland's not going to come to Manchester United. However, Greenwood is our long-term number 9 option. If you've noticed that Greenwood's been playing at number 9 a lot more, then I think Sancho is a lot more realistic transfer than Haaland. Steve says, I think Rice is more realistic than Varane and Sancho more realistic. Yeah, I think, Varane has a lot of people going in for him if he's going to be 50, 60 million. I think, I don't think City will be, but I think Man United and Chelsea will definitely be in for Raphael Varane. And I think, we know Sancho chose to go to Manchester United last time. I think Sancho's more realistic. And I think with Lingard, Rice is more realistic. But again, we know that Chelsea want Rice as well. And I think they're willing to offer Tammy Abraham, but I think Jesse Lingard, even though Tammy Abraham is a lot younger, I generally do think that Jesse Lingard's a better offer to West Ham for Rice, because obviously he's proven himself at West Ham. Apparently, some American capital venture people inquired with United hearing of the ESL collapse and saw it on Twitter. Hopefully not Glazers 2.0. That's the thing, but we want the Glazers to go. We want the Glazers to leave Manchester United, but we don't want the Glazers to be replaced with Glazers 2.0. I completely agree. What do you mean, new centre-back for Maguire? Iceman skates laps around him. I like Victor Lindelof, but Maguire is Manchester United's first choice centre-back. Whether you like it or not, he's the one we paid 80 million for. He's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre-back. We're looking for someone to partner with Maguire. Do I think Lindelof's a better centre-back than Maguire is an interesting question, because I think there's a lot of games where Lindelof is the better of the two. But I think, Maguire is obviously the £80 million signing. He is, in fact, the preferred one. I think that's kind of the situation in terms of Lindelof and Maguire. And it looks like Man United's overall thought is, we need to find someone to ideally, partner Maguire. I think, there's so much going on with Man United. We know we need a centre-back. We've been linked to so many centre-backs. We've been linked to that Milenkovic guy. We've been linked to Koundé, Pau Torres, Botman, Varane. We've been linked to Alaba, who's going to Real Madrid. So we know Alaba's going to Real Madrid. We know Konate's going to Liverpool, okay? So that's 2 of the clubs that need a centre-back out of it. Bayern Munich, Manchester United and Chelsea are looking for a centre-back. Where realistically, you put your money on Varane going to Bayern Munich. Liverpool might not get Champions League football. So, Chelsea might not get Champions League football. So, we have that chance there. But realistically, you put your money probably on Varane going to Bayern Munich. Raphael Varane is going to leave Real Madrid. Fabrizio Romano Perez has confirmed that. We know Chelsea are interested. We know United are interested. We know United in talks. But if I'm being realistic, I think Varane is the type of player who'll go to Bayern Munich. Alaba goes to Real Madrid. Varane goes to Bayern Munich. But everybody that's joined the stream, please hit that like button and subscribe down below and let me know your thoughts. Cyberware says, Alice, would you rather have Reeves or Sancho, knowing we have Ahmad? I take Sancho over Grealish. People think I'm mad, but I think we need a right winger very, very badly. I'm a blue. David says, brought Maguire for his aerial dominance and now he suddenly doesn't know how to head the ball. I mean, Maguire versus Burnley was pretty awful. What other players do you think Man United should sign? I'd like us to sign Varane, Rice and Sancho personally, myself. But I'm going to get into some of the other Manchester United news and all of that. There's a big PR spin about Ed Woodward leaving and all of that, and I will discuss that later. But another story that came out was from Football Insider, and they basically said Manchester United Director of Football John Murtough is fighting to save his jobs just weeks after his appointment. Murtough is now under threat following the resignation of Ed Woodward, who he was eyes and ears for. Now, John Murtough is a player that's kind of escaped the media, I think. John Murtough is our Director of Football. John Murtough recently got the job at Manchester United. John Murtough is as involved, maybe not as involved, because he's not the name at the front of the face. He's not as involved in the Glazers as Woodward. But John Murtough is involved in the Super League thing with the Glazers and Woodward. He is our Director of Football. He is a businessman. We want the Glazers out, we want Woodward out, but we need John Murtough and everyone else at the club as well. And the only way to get all the bad people out of the club is to get the Glazers out. So everybody, you have to go to this 3 p.m. protest if you can. But I think that's a really, really interesting story regarding Murtough having a role in what's to play. Again, there's so many news about Cavani leaving. I get the impression that Cavani is leaving Manchester United, which is a shame. But again, I'm not particularly surprised by that. And again, the Manchester Evening News said Manchester United want an experienced centre-half to partner Maguire in the summer transfer window. And Raphael Varane, who turns 28 later this week, has been a long-term standing target for the club. Manchester Evening News also said sources close to Varane say some clubs are only prepared to wait until next year to sign the Frenchman without having to pay a fee. But Florentino Perez is so desperate to prevent that from happening, he's willing to sell Varane this summer. So Man United and Real Madrid are kind of the same. Man United have got 1 year left on Pogba. He's probably not going to stay. We're probably going to want to sell him this summer so we can cash in on him. And Real Madrid are looking to sell Varane this summer so they can probably cash into him. Maguire lifetime contract after dressing down Ed. Fair enough. Apparently, it was actually more Bruno that made Ed Woodward leave. You know, Ed Woodward was going to leave anyway. He was against the Super League ideas. All that bullshit. Bullshit. Ed Woodward got sacked because his idea for the Super League backfired. And Bruno Fernandes, Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford, and Harry Maguire to go at him. And Bruno Fernandes went off for one. That's why that's why Ed Woodward got sacked, because of the Super League. He can put this PR spin on it, thinking he was nothing to do with it, thinking he was just thinking he went across the Glazers. But Ed Woodward lost his job over the Super League, and that's the best thing about this Super League. This guy says, buy Nicholas Sulan. Bayern wants to play for Man United and is one of the fastest players in the Bundesliga. Yeah, but Bayern have just sold Alaba to Real Madrid, so I don't think they'll sell another centre back. I think Man United need to sign at least 5 players in July. Well, there's rumours that we are going to have a big summer transfer window in the Glazers' attempt to win us back over. Look, you know, if the Glazers don't sell Manchester United, and it's going to be very, very hard to sell Manchester United, after the Athletic said, you know, to sell Manchester United, we're going to need about £4 billion. In a COVID market, I don't think there's any more £4 billion to buy United off the Glazers, which is the sad truth. Yes, we want the Glazers to go, but I don't think, you know, we will be able to get that much money. You know, a shame. It is what it is. But what I'm trying to say is, and I completely forgot what I was talking about, but basically the whole story is, the Glazers, they won't be able to sell Man United unless they get £4 billion for them. They could go and buy what? We're going to buy Sancho, we're going to buy Rice, we're going to buy Haaland, we're going to buy Varane. Because I think the Glazers have a lot of pressure on them. The Glazers, Man United, you know, it would be classic Man United to have the best transfer window we've had in years. It would be classic Man United to sign Sancho, Haaland, Rice, Varane, and Didi, because the Glazers want to win the fans back over. The shares have dropped this much. Woodward is gone. There's new people in the club that obviously John Mertens want to sound impressive, like he's good at his job. Do I think John Mertens is another Woodward? Of course he fucking is. I'm not stupid, but it could be a very, very interesting transfer window for Manchester United. Ed was in secret discussion about the ESL for 3 years. Even his old employer were putting up $4 billion. Ed Woodward was everything to do with the ESL. You know, his whole company was to do with it. Joel Glazers, Florentino, Perez, and Ed Woodward were probably the 3 people most involved in the European Super League, because all they care about is their bloody money. This guy says we have to keep Pogba. He's played very well alongside Bruno and Fred. I think Pogba, Bruno, Fred is our best midfield three. I agree. But some people would get rid of Fred. I think ideally we need a top CDM, Pogba, Bruno. I don't think Fred is good enough at the whole kind of CDM role and stuff. Let me know your thoughts about the protesters getting into Carrington today with a 50+1 sign. I think that's always good to see. I'm really happy that we did see that and all of that, because I just think, you know, we just need to keep protesting. You know, we need to keep protesting until we can get the Glazers out our bloody club. Because, you know, no one wants to see the Glazers at Manchester United. No one wants to see the Glazers at Manchester United. And I think, you know, Ed Woodward's gone, but someone worse than Ed Woodward could replace him. We want the Glazers to go, but we want someone who's not worse than the Glazers to replace the Glazers. If the Glazers are going to sell Man United, I think now would be the time. I actually saw a tweet earlier on that said, I can definitely see the Glazers selling the club fairly soon. Their shield and their main moneymaker is gone in Ed Woodward, so their perspective, why would they stay? They don't see Man United as a football club, but instead as a cash cow. The Glazers see United as a cash cow, not a football club. Ed Woodward's gone, who's their main cash cow. So for me, you know, the Glazers could sell Manchester United, but as the Athletic said, it's going to take $4 billion to sell Man United, and that might not come for a while, especially in a COVID market. So there is a chance that, you know, Man United could have a massive summer transfer window to try and distract us from the fact that, you know, we are run by shit owners. This guy said Ed Woodward's a virgin. I mean, if it wasn't for his money, he probably still would be. I mean, have you seen the guy? But yeah, it's an absolute joke. It's an absolute disgrace for Manchester United. We just want the Glazers to resign. We just want our clubs. We just want the 50+1 rule. We just want the fans to have a say. You know, United are an absolute disgrace. It's embarrassing, and I just really hope that these protests, we can't like loosen up now just because the Super League's off. We still have to protest for what we want, and what we want is the Glazers out. It would take years to get rid of the Glazers. No one is going to buy Manchester United right now, especially during a pandemic. I agree it could take a while to get rid of the Glazers, but I think if we're going to get rid of them, it would be now. Would you go for another goalkeeper just in case one picks up an injury, one push to hair will benefit? Not really. Like, I don't want Lee Grant in goal for United, but I would get a second keeper, but I wouldn't pay more than like $2 million for him. I generally wouldn't pay more than $2 million for a second keeper. Obviously, the Super League is off, and there's this new Champions League, which requires more games and more money, which is kind of worrying, and we will talk about that later on in the stream. The new Champions League is basically a better version of the European Super League, so it's definitely not over. The Super League is off, but it's definitely not over. Leah Smith came out and said that Donny van der Beek is particularly pleased with the continued support he receives from Manchester United fans, which, I think that's always good to read, because I think Donny knows that the fans completely back him. We fucking love Donny van der Beek. But yeah, I think, there's just so much going on surrounding Manchester United news. But only 62 likes needed for 100 likes. If everybody watching could hit that like button, it would really mean a lot. Well, I move into my next story, which is obviously Declan Rice to Manchester United. Now, let me know if there's any issues with the camera quality, the mic quality, all of that. Just let me know down below. But the next thing I want to talk about is Declan Rice to Manchester United. Now, let me know in the live chat in the comments down below. How do you feel about Declan Rice? Because I think he's a player that a lot of people have mixed feelings on. And I think up until a while ago, Declan Rice was a player I had mixed feelings about. I'm a fan of Declan Rice. I think Declan Rice is a great player. But this time last year, I wouldn't have signed Declan Rice. But this time now, I've seen Declan Rice play some really good games for Manchester United, that I would actually personally sell Declan Rice, seeing what, the likes of Jesse Lingard has done and all of that with Manchester United as well. Jesse Lingard and Declan Rice have swapped deal with a little bit of money. Now, what's really interesting is this news article that's come out by Miguel Delaney saying Boris Johnson met with Ed Woodward in Downing Street 4 days later before the launch of the European Super League. Both parties insisted the talks were around COVID rules and the return of fans in the stadium. The Super League wasn't discussed. Now, maybe Boris knew about the Super League. That would be kind of strange, because he's obviously said that he tried to stop it and all of that. But there is news coming out that Boris Johnson and Ed Woodward did have a meeting about the Super League. Now, Boris Johnson's come out and he's like, I'm going to try and stop the Super League. I don't want the Super League to happen. Did Boris Johnson know the Super League was happening? Is Ed Woodward and Boris Johnson in on it? Is the government really in on the Super League? There's rumours of Haaland going to AC Milan, possibly because he likes Zlatan, but I think he would go somewhere bigger. Am I going to the protest? I'm considering going to the protest, but it will take me a couple hours to get there, because I'm in Cambridge at the moment. So I'm going to see if I can get a lift there. I might go, I might not. If I go to the protest, I'll definitely make a video on it, because I think that'd be so sick. Obviously, I'll be in the protest, but if I went to the protest, I would make a video on it. But I don't know if I'm allowed to go yet, because I've got uni work and it will take me a little bit to get there. Man United's next away game is to Leeds. Should be good for Man United. It's away to Leeds, better away. So, yeah, Man United Leeds is going to be a massive game. Tomorrow will be my match preview for Manchester United versus Leeds. So make sure you like and subscribe for that if you're new. We will be talking about the Leeds-Manchester United game, match preview to that and all of that. I think that's a massive game. I think it's an exciting game. And when we played Leeds last time, I think it was the best game. I think the Leeds United game is the best game I watched all season. It was 6-2, but it could have been 10-4. Leeds United 6-2, but it could have been 10-4. So I'm really looking forward to the Leeds United game, because Leeds will always give you a good, exciting game. I love watching Leeds. And let's get rid of Joel Glazers and Matt Judge. Yeah, Woodward is gone. But as long as Matt Judge and the Glazers are in the club, we're just going to get another Woodward to replace Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward might be gone, but Ed Woodward is going to replace Woodward. Someone just like Ed Woodward will replace Woodward until you get rid of the Glazers, until you get rid of Matt Judge. I completely agree. And I think, yes, the Super League's over, but it's not completely over. There's going to be a new UCL format that is kind of like the Super League. So I think all the fans need to protest to try and get what they want. And, this isn't the end. Just because the Super League's over doesn't mean this is the end of the protest. We want to get the Glazers out. Hopefully we will get the Glazers out. He's quality, but we need to spread money around multiple positions, knowing our budget will be low, knowing these scumbags. I completely agree. Let's talk about Haaland for 150 million. I love Haaland, but you spend 150 million on Haaland, you can't get a centre-back. You can't get the CDM that you want. So it's a joke. But yeah. Diego Palace says, if West Ham fail to finish in the top 5, Declan Rice still may be more viable. Yeah, if West Ham don't get European football, especially Champions League, I think the deal for Rice is more doable. I also think that our Lingard leverage could very much help us in the deal for Declan Rice. It's just that Manchester United's board is incompetent at getting deals done. We might have this Lingard leverage over West Ham. West Ham should and hopefully will pay a lot of money to get Jesse Lingard with his form. And we have that leverage of Jesse Lingard. But again, West Ham are going to price Declan Rice very high, and with our board not wanting to spend money, will we get Declan Rice? The news rumours are that Man United could have a transfer window of Declan Rice, Sancho and Raphael Varane to Manchester United. Now, how happy would you be if we signed Sancho, Varane and Rice? I'd be over the moon. I'd be gassed. I'd be thinking we're winning the league next season. But it wouldn't disguise the fact that the Glazers have just done that. to distract us that the Glazers are still there. And I think, there'll always be a problem at Manchester United until the Glazers leave, in my honest opinion. I think the Glazers need to leave Man United. Yes, this Varane stuff seems like pretty cool. This Varane stuff seems pretty interesting. For me, there'll always be a problem until the Glazers leave. My camera won't focus, so I'm really, really sorry about that. How many percent do you think Varane to Manchester United? Varane to Manchester United, I think it's between Man United, Chelsea and Bayern to sign Raphael Varane. I think the owners might want to sign Raphael Varane to apologise. But realistically, if you're Varane, you're thinking he's probably going to go to Bayern Munich. How likely is Varane to Manchester United? We know Varane's going to leave Real Madrid. We know that very few clubs are going to pay 60 million for Varane. Would Bayern Munich pay 60 million for Varane? We know he's going to leave Real Madrid. We know Man United want Varane. We know Man United are desperate for a centre-back. So if you put my money, I believe, because reliable journalists said it, that Varane will leave Real Madrid. I believe that Manchester United are in for Varane, but I can't really put a percentage on it. I say 50% because I think it's between us, Chelsea and Bayern, and I think it's likely to happen. But again, it's not like he's agreed personal terms. And with Man United, if you'd asked me in summer how likely do I think Sancho to United is, I would have said 80% because everything was agreed but the price. And with Man United, Varane, everything could be agreed with Varane but the price. But you never know if he's going to Manchester United because just how we deal with our business. But I think there's a high chance that Man United could get Raphael Varane, but I think we will be competing with the likes of Bayern and Chelsea for Varane. But there's a lot of reliable journalists linking us to Varane, which obviously I talked about earlier in this video. Important, Man United can't go unbeaten to the end of the season in both cups. Give it a good next season with confidence. Yeah, hopefully we beat Arsenal's unbeaten record away from home as well. And this guy said, who will Varane replace, Viking or Slabhead? Varane will replace Victor Lindelof. The plan is to sign Raphael Varane because he's a good pace partner for Harry Maguire. Solskjaer wants Varane. Man United want Varane. That is the plan for Raphael Varane to Manchester United. Who's your favourite? What's your favourite Man United season ever? When you started to support? My favourite Man United season was obviously with Ronaldo and Rooney when we won the Prem and the Champions League when I was about 8 years old. Fancy a beer shift over there, Alice. Let's celebrate. Ed's gone. Ed Woodward is gone. Ed Woodward is gone. We celebrated Ed Woodward going on the day it was announced Ed Woodward is gone. But remember, someone worse could come in to replace Ed Woodward. As long as the Glazers are there, Ed Woodward's replacement will be just like Ed Woodward. Do you think the Glazers are going to get Van der Sar like the fans want? No. Ed Woodward is gone, but his replacement will be another Ed Woodward until the Glazers go. And that's why it's really important that we protest for the Glazers to leave Manchester United. If Pogba stays, I think Varane will come to Manchester United. I think if Pogba leaves and goes to Real Madrid, really easy we can get Varane and do a Varane-Pogba swap deal. If we can manage to keep hold of Pogba and Varane love each other, we want Varane. We're one of the few clubs that are willing to pay for Varane. Real Madrid will sell Varane. I think there is a chance that Manchester United can sign Varane. I think there highly is a chance. With a year left on his contract, it's between us, Chelsea, and Bayern Munich. It's realistically between us, Chelsea, and Bayern Munich. So I think there's a very high chance that United could get Varane, maybe use Pogba in that. Maybe Pogba staying can sway him here, but maybe they could use Pogba so they don't have to pay cash. We can very much use Declan. We can very much use Lingard in a deal for Declan Rice. I think we could get a good 30-40 million off Declan Rice, pretty much half his price with Jesse Lingard. And I think, with the Paul Pogba, we could do a straight swap Pogba for Varane because obviously Pogba's got a year left on his contract. Varane's got a year left on his contract. Same situation. Do I think Pogba for Varane is a fair swap? I'd take it if Pogba wants to leave and Varane wants to come, but Pogba's a level ahead of Varane. Let's be honest. Richard Arnold, another Glazer marketing puppet, will replace Ed Woodward. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. This guy's going to replace Ed Woodward. He's just another Glazer marketing puppet. So it's very, very important that the Glazers leave Manchester United. This guy says, Robbie from AFTV thinks Man United will win the league before Arsenal. Would you say that's likely? Whoever can get rid of their owners first and get proper owners will win the league first. But probably more likely Man United because, Croncade's just as bad as the Glazers and Man United generate more than Arsenal. Varane must come. Well, this is the thing. United are in talks with Varane. Again, we want Varane. Real Madrid are willing to sell Varane. But will Varane want Bayern Munich? Will Varane want Manchester United? Where will Varane want to go? For me, I say it again. Varane, he's got PSG, he's got Bayern Munich, he's got Manchester United, and he's got Chelsea. Liverpool are getting Konaté. Alaba's gone to Real Madrid. That's where Varane is realistically going to go. We have Pogba, but is he going to stay? We're willing to pay 60 million for Varane, where teams like Bayern Munich might not be. So maybe we have that advantage. And Perez, we know, is a greedy money, but grabbing bastard because he was the organiser of the Super League, will want money for Varane. So yeah, there's definitely a chance United can get Varane, but it's not always the most realistic option. Thank you very much, Cyberwez, for the super chat. Always means a lot, your support. But again, I'd love to see Varane at Manchester United, but who really knows? Can you buy Adrian Rabiot? I mean, he was a player that I would like to buy a few years ago, but he personally hasn't really done much since he went to Juventus, in my opinion. No, this is all distractions from the protest Saturday, 3 p.m. at Old Trafford. Yes, there's a lot of news about Manchester United, Varane, Sancho, Haaland, Rice. But yeah, I don't want this video to distract us from the fact that the Glazers are still in charge of Man United. One good summer transfer window will not hide the fact what the Glazers have done for 15 years. The Glazers could spend 400 million, but we still want them to leave because they've been awful. They've ruined the club for the last 15 years, and I advise everyone to go to that protest at Old Trafford. It's really important. I think it's really big that we get the Glazers out. Nipham says, I think all the American owners will sell up now. The Super League has been liquidated. Ed Woodward gone, Super League liquidated. If the Glazers are going to sell United, they're going to sell United now. You know, the Glazers came with Woodward. Should the Glazers leave with Woodward? The only problem is, after the Athletic said, who get their information from Manchester United, it's going to cost $4 billion to take over Manchester United in a COVID market. So maybe the Glazers are looking to sell, but it could be a couple of years if they can manage to sell, which is the sad truth. Firstly, we need to give Pogba a new contract. He's still number one for Man United, not Bruno. Pogba on his day is better than Bruno Fernandes, but overall for Man United, I think Bruno is better. But if we can get Pogba to stay, But we can only make Pogba stay if he wants to stay, and that's up to Pogba. I'd love him to stay, but does Pogba want to stay? Everybody that is watching, make sure you hit that like button. Let's see if we can hit 100 likes. Subscribe down below and share this video. Varane, 1 year left, isn't even worth 60 million. I agree. I think we can probably get Varane for 30, 40 million or do a straight swap for Paul Pogba. Do I want to sell Paul Pogba? No. But I think there is a chance that we could swap Paul Pogba for Rafael Varane, because Fabrizio Romano and Florentino Perez said Varane will basically be leaving. And obviously, we are one of the clubs that are most keen on Varane because we need a quick centre-back. Arsenal will get relegated before they win the league. LOL. I completely agree. Varane or Pau Torres will be good signings, but I think I would take Varane over Pau Torres because I think Varane comes and walks straight into the squad, whereas I think Pau Torres is one of those players that could be like a 2Nzavi that never really gets game time, whereas Varane is going to walk straight into the squad. Most underrated player you've seen is, I think, Man United player I've ever seen is Darren Fletcher. I'd say for me, Michael Carrick. What is your view on Rice and Sancho? Well, I'd love Declan Rice and Sancho. There's news that United could have a big summer transfer window. Sign who the fans want. We want Declan Rice, Sancho, and a quick centre-back. But again, if we sign Declan Rice and Jadon Sancho and a quick centre-back, it's not going to distract me from the fact that the Glazers are ruining this club. And this is just their attempt at saying sorry and stop getting us fans to turn on the club. Because the more us fans turn on the club, the more the Glazers' share price goes down. Glazers are a bit better than Kroenke. They're just as bad as each other. It's just that Man United generate more revenue than Arsenal, I think. Your opinion on Rice and Sancho? Yeah, take them. I think I answered that. I've seen AFTV and Robbie and DC said in America they accept mediocrity, but not here in the UK. I completely agree with that. I completely think that. Rather the Rice than Fred. Man United do need a CDM. We will talk about the fact that Manchester United desperately need a CDM. Nipham says, everyone who is against corruption should support a team playing against Real Madrid in the Champions League. Support Liverpool. No, Chelsea are playing. Oh, no, Chelsea are playing Real Madrid, aren't they? Yeah, I want Chelsea to win the Champions League, to be fair. You want someone who has the same ambition as Roman Abramovich. Basically, yeah, I think out of all the top 6 owners involved in the Super League, Roman Abramovich is the best because obviously he was kind of the first to pull out. I know City were the first to announce they were leaving, but Roman Abramovich was kind of the first to leave and listen to the fans. What Roman Abramovich has done at Chelsea is brilliant. And yeah, I respect Roman Abramovich, to be fair. Madrid will absolutely have to sell a few big names to manage their finances, especially with no ESL anymore. Completely agree. Hopefully, my hair. What the fuck has happened to my hair? Hopefully, Rafael Varane is one of them. With 1 year left on his contract, they're not in a strong position. Can Man United take advantage of the fact that we can maybe get Varane for, I don't know, 50, 60 million? Like, how mad would that be? I mean, I think he's worth less than 50, 60 million because he's got a year left on his contract. Man United could potentially get Varane for something like 30, 40 million. Liverpool got Thiago Alcantara with 1 year left on his contract for 30 million. I think Manchester United could do the same with Rafael Varane. Diego C. Palace says that Pogba can't be leaving on a free. He's a major Manchester United asset, I reckon. The thing is, Pogba needs to sign a new contract. And if Pogba doesn't sign a new contract, he can leave on a free next summer. We can maybe cash up to 50 million for him this summer because he's a top player. He is playing well. Maybe he's playing for a move as well with Paul Pogba. That's a big question. Varane would be a good signing, but I think a DM should be our first priority. I completely agree with this comment. Sell Lingard plus Fred for Rice. Alice, are you? I would sell Lingard and Fred for Rice. I generally would. I think Declan Rice is better than them both. I love Lingard. I like Fred, but I would do that. The Glazers sell Manchester United. ESL has created huge chaos and hate against Manchester United fans all over the world. Every fan of football is turning on the Glazers, and you love to see it. Every fan that loves football, not just Man United fans, Chelsea fans, Arsenal fans, they all want the Glazers out. They all want them to stop ruining the clubs. Here in the US, it's all about money, and in England, and the Glazers, it's all about money, and it's really sad because sports should be about fans, not the money. And hopefully, we can fight and find a way to change that and get this 50+1 rule. Because for me, sport is about the fans and not the money. The interesting question is, there was this news report saying that Boris Johnson was potentially in on it and he knew about it happening, and Boris has obviously come out and said he's trying to stop it happening. Is Boris saving face? Is the government in on it? That is the big question as well, which I find really worrying. Also, someone who wants to win titles, not top four. For me, top four is never enough for Man United. That's the thing with our owners. All our owners care. All of the Glazers care about at Manchester United is getting top four. But we are Manchester United. We are the biggest team in England. We're probably the second biggest team in the world after Real Madrid. We should be winning titles. We have generate enough revenue to win titles. It's because our owners are greedy. Man United should be a team competing for the title every year, not compete for top four. Getting top four each year should be a necessity. Competing for the title is what we should expect. I completely agree with you there. Would you take a Saudi king as Man United's owner because oil money? It'll be the Manchester Abu Dhabi. I'll pretty much take anyone over the Glazers. I think anyone's improvement on the Glazers. Is it ethical, the whole oil thing? No. Are we jealous of City and Chelsea for having it? Yes. Would I take pretty much anyone over the Glazers? Yes. You can't get much worse than the Glazers. So, yeah. If we got new owners, do you think they would sack Ollie? It depends how Ollie's doing and where he's in the league. But I don't think they would straight away. I don't think they would straight away. I think it would all depend on what Ollie's doing. If Ollie's doing great, they wouldn't. If Ollie's doing awful, then fair play. Who do Lingard, Rice swap and Matic for Sancho? Sancho and Rice could be coming to Manchester United in the Glazers' attempt to win the fans back. Sancho to Manchester United is quite likely in the sense that if Sancho wants to come to Manchester United, Dortmund won't get top four. There is quite a likely chance that Man United could get Sancho this year. We did it with Bruno Fernandes. When we first wanted Bruno Fernandes, we didn't get him. We went back and got him. Man United, again, are the only team 100% interested in Sancho. We know Sancho wants to come to Man United. Man United in a good position to get Sancho. Man United can get Declan Rice. They can use Jesse Lingard as leverage. They can get Declan Rice. They're in a good position to get Declan Rice. And Man United now are also in a good position to get Raphael Varane if we offer him the wages that he wants. Man United can get Raphael Varane, Declan Rice, and Sancho this summer. The big question is, are Man United able to get them? That's the big question. Do you think Varane's a bit overrated? Did you not see the disaster class to get to Manchester City? I did, but that was a year ago, and that's one disaster class. I've seen Van Dijk have disaster classes. I've seen Diaz and Stones get basically turned to shreds by Martial. I think every now and then a centre back can have a good day, but I think Varane's a good player. I think he's won Champions Leagues. He can't be that bad, can he? Maybe Ramos carries him a bit, but Varane's got pace as well, so I think he really slots in really, really well next to the likes of Harry Maguire and all of that. But everybody, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe down below and let me know your thoughts on the stream. We're talking about Raphael Varane, we're talking about the Glazers, we're talking about the future of Manchester United, we're talking about it all. So everybody that's watching, remember to like, subscribe and share the screen. I'm going to get through a few more comments before I get into a little bit more news. Love the content. You keep posting, keep it up. Thank you very much for that comment. It means a lot. This guy says, firstly, we need a new owner like Chelsea, City, who really love the club. Chelsea and City were the two Premier League teams to pull out because they're the two owners in the top six that actually invested in their club and actually give a fuck. And it says it all, really. The fact that Joel Glazers is the ringleader behind the European Super League says it fucking all. It basically says it all. The fact that Joel Glazers was the ringleader behind the European Super League. I also think the fact that Florentino Perez is behind it. I think Real Madrid and Man United have the greediest owners in football. They were the ringleaders behind it. Ed Woodward was heavily involved. Ed Woodward's company was basically the financer of it. The Super League is created by the Glazers, Ed Woodward and Florentino Perez. And because the Glazers, Man United, are right behind the Super League, and there's a lot of pressure on them, Ed Woodward is gone. Could the Glazers be going? The only thing is the Glazers have got to get £4 billion to sell Manchester United. Where are you going to get £4 billion from the COVID market? I think if the Glazers are going to sell Man United, it's going to be now. But it could be very, very much Glazers to put a PR spin on it, say their apology, go, you know what, we're gonna sign Sancho, we're gonna sign Rice, we'll sign Haaland, we'll sell Varane, and completely distract the fans from the joke that they are. Being owned by the Glazers has cost Manchester United £1.5 billion so far. The Glazers borrowed £520 million to buy United in 2005, and the club has been paying interest and other charges ever since. I think it's a joke that the Glazers weren't even allowed to buy Man United. Like, how does that even happen? Why is someone on £500 million in debt? I think it's an absolute joke that the Glazers were even able to buy Manchester United. But everybody watching, take 1 second to hit that like button. We're trying to get 100 likes. Take 1 second to hit that like button. Everybody. It also says, I feel that Pogba is happy with the team and the manager now, promising future with a couple good signings. CDM and centre-back at least should make him stay. Imagine Varane, quick centre-back to Maguire, play a higher line. Declan Rice, Pogba, Bruno. That would be intense. The Glazers are so damn unethical. I completely agree. So I want to get into my next story. So I was just talking about the Boris Johnson possibly knowing about the Super League story. But there's obviously Cavani's leaving. That's confirmed. Alaba to Real Madrid is confirmed. So Rafael Varane is leaving Real Madrid. Will Rafael Varane come to Manchester United? So I think it's between Varane, Jules Koundé and Pau Torres. I think Man United centre-back options are between Varane, Jules Koundé and Pau Torres. Man United are interested in Sancho. Manchester United are interested in Rice. Will Man United deliver this transfer window, trying to win us back with all three of them, guys? What do you think? Let me know in the live chat. And if you're not watching live, let me know, obviously, in the comments down below. But there's just so much news sort of surrounding the whole situation. And I want to get some of you guys' thoughts and read out a few more comments. Diego says only 48 likes needed for 100 likes, so it would be awesome if everybody hits that like button. You think the Glazers will give more than 100 million to Ollie after this? Ollie still a yes go, whatever he gets in the transfer window, he's okay with. They should, and I hope they do. But I think the Super League going through will actually cost the Glazers. I think we have to pay something to get out of our contract, but then we are the ringleaders behind the Super League, so maybe the Glazers and Florentino Perez actually profit from this the most. Who knows? But I think it has cost us, but I hope that we get a bigger transfer window because of it. I absolutely do. I really hope we do. CFC7 says, even though Man U are on a good run, there are some games they still don't play as well as they can, and they still need to improve. I completely agree with you there. Yes, Steve. Gaz Elliott says, have you ever watched She Devils United on YouTube? I think you would be good in there. The channel came up once or twice before. It's the Irish woman, isn't it, I think? Alice, will Cavani stay with us next season? Cavani is leaving Manchester United, guys. It's basically confirmed. He wants to be with his family. You know, he has no issue with United, but he wants to be in that South American climate with his family. Cavani is leaving Man United and going to South America in the summer, which means Cavani is leaving. Does that make Haaland more likely? Possibly, but I don't think Haaland's going to come to Manchester United. Maybe Greenwood is the future striker for Cavani. Bear in mind, we've got Martial to come back from injury. He's had an off-season, but I believe Martial is actually Man United quality, believe it or not. I know he's had an off-season. But maybe if I'm Man United, I'm looking at getting a right winger and pushing Mason Greenwood to centre. I think Cavani leaving makes Jadon Sancho to Man United more realistic. About a month ago, there was a lot of big stories about Jadon Sancho coming to Man United. If Dortmund don't get Champions League, they have to lower their price for Jadon Sancho. And if Jadon Sancho is £80 million or less, Man United will go for Jadon Sancho. Maybe that will be the Glazers' big story, but we know we're Man United. We don't get Bruno first try. Next transfer winner, we go and get him. You know, I think Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is a lot more likely than people think. And believe it or not, I know we didn't get Sancho last summer. We all expected Sancho to come to Manchester United. But from what we know, it wouldn't shock me if Man United went and got Jadon Sancho. Even with the Glazers in charge, it wouldn't shock me if we went and got Jadon Sancho this summer. It really, really wouldn't. This comment says, with oil money, we still lack a manager who invests in our club legacy. And if that happens, we can absolutely not lose people like Ollie and Carrick maintaining United spirit. I think I'd like almost like a Man City, Chelsea manager. I agree, but I think you still need people that know the club in charge. I think the difference between Ollie and Mourinho is Ollie does know the club. People close to Donny van der Beek are expecting a big season for him in 21-22. There's absolutely no chance he'll be leaving in the summer. This season has played out exactly as he was informed. I saw this story about Donny van der Beek. And I think Man United are expecting Pogba to leave this summer. And I think they brought Donny van der Beek last summer because they wouldn't be able to get him if we went in for him next summer. And I think the whole role of Donny van der Beek is a replacement for Pogba because the Athletic, of really reliable source, came out a month ago and says Man United's plans for Donny van der Beek is top CDM, Donny van der Beek and Bruno in the midfield because they expect Pogba to go, they expect Pogba to leave. Maybe we swap Pogba for Varane. This is what I think Man United could do in the summer. Look, we're inefficient in the summer. John Murtagh, our new director of football, is no better than Ed Woodward, probably. The Glazers are calm, but this is what I think Man United could do in the summer. Pogba for Varane swap deal. You use Jesse Lingard to half Declan Rice's price, and we get Jadon Sancho. So our squad next year is obviously Dean Henderson, because I think De Gea will go, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Maguire, Luke Shaw, Declan Rice, Donny van der Beek, Bruno Fernandes, Greenwood, Sancho, Rashford. That's a pretty good team. Obviously, you know, it's Man United. We could have a summer transfer window where we sign Pau Torres and no one else. I wouldn't be surprised. But if the Glazers don't leave, they've got a lot of apologising to do to the fans, and I think they have to put a PR spin on it and buy big. And with Ed Woodward out the club, we're more likely to sign a player, it feels like, because Ed Woodward just slows us down and sign the players. But I think Donny van de Beek will be involved next season. Cavani is leaving. Donny van de Beek will be involved. Pogba could be leaving, but maybe we could get Pogba Varane swap deal. And I think Jadon, Sancho and Declan Rice to Man United are definitely likely transfers. There's a lot of big news around Jadon Sancho to Manchester United last summer. We know Sancho was this close to joining Manchester United last summer. Dortmund don't look like they're getting Champions League football. And if Dortmund don't get Champions League football, we could get Sancho for 60, 70, 80 million. And we know Manchester United are willing to pay 60, 70, 80 million for Sancho. So we're going to look at it a positive note. Obviously, I don't want this video of transfers to distract us from the fact that the Glazers are still in charge at Manchester United. The Glazers are a joke. Glazers out, 3 p.m. protest at Old Trafford on Saturday. But I still think the transfer window for Man United could be a good one. Does it mean we can forgive the Glazers? No, we'll never forgive the Glazers till they leave. But I think Sancho, Rice and Varane, it could happen because it could be their way of trying to say sorry. Do we forgive them? No. Do we take it? Ooh, we'll take the players. Of course we will. Of course we will. This guy follows it up by saying, Donny van de Beek is partially pleased with the continued support he receives from Manchester United fans. I read that out earlier. He is, and this guy also says, most successful final third passes in Europe's top 5 leagues, Lionel Messi, Bruno Fernandes and Jordi Alba. Well, that's a nice stat. Get your thoughts in the live chat. Hit that like button, subscribe down below. This video, if you've just joined, was talking about Varane to Manchester United. We know Varane's leaving Real Madrid. We know Alaba's going to Real Madrid. And we know Man United are in for Varane. Reliable journalists have said that Manchester United are in talks with Varane. Man United hope to sign Varane, but Man United to Varane depends on if Varane chooses to go Man United. He might choose to go to PSG, he might choose to go to Chelsea, he might choose to go to Bayern Munich. But we could use Pogba in a swap deal with Real Madrid, which would make Florentino and Perez a greedy money-grabbing bastard like the Glazers want to get him. Jadon Sancho Man United is obviously an ongoing thing. And West Ham want Rice, and West Ham want Lingard, so maybe he can get Rice. This guy says, do you feel today's process at Carrington would have shocked the Glazers? I think the fact that they got into the grounds might have shocked the Glazers, but the thing is, the Glazers are so dumb. They're so uninvolved in football. They're that type of the Glazers. You see, with all these protests, I know people that don't even watch football that have messaged me like, Alice, what is going on with these protests? Tell me more about it. I'm so confused. What are these protests? I have friends that literally don't give a fuck about football, knowing about the protests. Like asking about it. What is this? Because everyone's hearing about these protests. The Glazers are so under a rock that they're the type of people do not even know there's a protest at Old Trafford. Like they're that stupid. They are that stupid. That is the Glazers. Honestly, obviously, yeah, the club's registered to Cayman Islands, tax breaks and dividends. Yeah, that's another Glazers trying to make money and all of that. But I've got a lot of live chats to bloody hell read through. But yeah, obviously, Zlatan is going to AC Milan. Cavani's leaving Man United. All of that. I've got a lot of things to go in there. This guy says, sell Martial. He's not good enough for Manchester United. We are selling Cavani in the summer. Cavani is leading Man United. We are not going to sell Martial. I think he is good enough for United, personally, myself. I just think he's had enough season. We know that Edison Cavani is going to leave Man United. Jesse Lingard is likely to leave Manchester United. Paul Pogba is likely to leave Manchester United. Delo is likely to leave Manchester United. Bailly is likely to leave Manchester United. And David De Gea is likely to leave Manchester United. That's 6 players that are likely to leave Manchester United. Will we get rid of all 6? Probably not. I'm not including players like Mata and Matic, who we probably won't get much money for. There's a lot of players that are going to be leaving Manchester United this summer, and I don't think Martial will be one of them unless we get big money for him. I think Dino is going to be first choice keeper, and I think the money we get from players like De Gea and Eric Bailly could be invested in Rafael Varane, Declan Rice, Jadon Sancho. But I expect Man United to have 3 ins and 5 outs in the summer. That's what I expect to happen, and I expect it to be an interesting summer transfer window. Martial plus money for Kane. I doubt we get away with that. Would Martial even want to go to Spurs? If I'm Martial, I ain't wanting him to go to Spurs. He wants to play for Spurs. Breaking, the Premier League is set to introduce a new rule that also expels any team from joining breakaway tournaments. Yeah, I saw that news report. Thank you very much for putting that in the chat. I did see that news report. And if you're new, please like and subscribe this video. We're talking about all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news and what is going on. We'll see if there's any big updates surrounding Manchester United, which is always interesting to see. I think obviously there's a lot of transfer news coming out. The PR guys putting this PR spin. Let's distract everyone at Man United from the Glazer protests. But the Glazer protests are happening at 3 p.m. and I think they're going to be big protests. Putting their experiences aside, who would you prefer? Left-footed Torres who can move to Maguire, on the right side, or a right-footed Koundé, Varane, who keep Maguire on the left side. I think I prefer Koundé and Varane to Pau Torres just because they have that pace. And I do think we need a left footer at the back, but I think pace is very, very important. I quite like Hernandez at Bayern Munich. Obviously, we're not going to get Hernandez at Bayern Munich. They've just sold David Alaba, so they're not going to sell Hernandez. David Alaba's left on free, but I'd love Hernandez at Bayern Munich at Man United. Steve says Real Madrid are the only team never to go out before a group stage, and the only team since 1997 to play in every group stage every year. Clearly the biggest team in the world. Real Madrid are the biggest team in the world, followed by Manchester United. More Glazer out comments. Everybody get in the live chat with your Glazer out comments. Everybody 3 p.m. protest at Old Trafford. If I can go, I'll make a video on it. But I don't know if I'll be going or not. I'd like to go, but yeah. Spurs sacking Mourinho. What do you think about Spurs? I reckon Spurs sacked Mourinho because they thought they were going to get more money with the Super League. They paid Mourinho 30 million to get rid of them. Pogba Varane swap is a horrible swap. I agree. I think, Pogba's better than Varane, but I think it's the kind of swap the Glazers would do. Alice, the fact they registered Man United in the Cayman Islands for tax breaks and dividends, I know it just sums them up. It's a joke. I can't even get onto it. Donny van de Beek is quality. Barca President Joel Laporta. The Super League project is still there. We're open to having a dialogue with UEFA. There has to be attractive competition based on sporting merits. The Super League competition is still there, but the Super League is over. The Super League might be over, but the new Champions League is just like a Super League, but not as bad. And if you look at Ilkay Gundogan's tweet, he basically, we're talking out about the Super League, but maybe we need to start talking about this new Champions League. Ilkay Gundogan did this thing. People obviously know about the Pogba Varane swap and all of that. Now, Nicky Butt says, what happened should never have happened. What happens is the worst case of bullying, in my opinion, from powerful people. Whether they apologise or not, it's irrelevant to me. I love Nicky Butt. He's come out and said the Glazers can apologise. But the Glazers can apologise all they want. The Glazers can sign Sancho. The Glazers can sign Haaland. The Glazers can sign Raphael Varane. The Glazers can sign Declan Rice, Wilfred Ndidi. The Glazers could spend 300 fucking million. But it does not excuse what they've done at this club for the last 15 years. It does not excuse what they've done at the club for this last 15 years. If you want the fans to forgive you, the Glazers, sell Man United on a free. Give Man United away for free to someone that's going to buy the club, love the club, invest in the club, and win us titles. That's the only way you'll win the fans back, if you sell us on a bloody free. That's what I think. That's what I think. I don't know about you guys. Edwin van der Sar, Richard Arnold, and Cliff Batty are the names that to be considered succeeding Ed Woodward. Yeah, literally. We want Van der Sar. We want someone that's generally good at their job to succeed Ed Woodward. But as long as the Glazers are in, Ed Woodward's successor will be another Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward's gone. Yay, party. Ed Woodward's bloody gone. Great. Maybe the Glazers are going to go now. Ed Woodward's go. But as long as the Glazers are in charge, Ed Woodward's replacement will be another Ed Woodward. We need the Glazers to sell Manchester United. Man United are coming out saying it's going to cost $4 billion to sell us. We need someone with $4 billion to come around in the October market and buy Manchester United. Unfortunately, that's unlikely to happen. So we need to get these protests going, and we need the Glazers to be like, you know what, Glazers, we'll forgive you if you fucking sell the club on a free. They won't. But if the Glazers sell a club on the free, I'll forgive them for what they've done. That's the only way I'll forgive them, if they sell the club on the free. Ollie said Joe and Avran love the club. I think there's a lot of fake news regarding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and all of that. Do you think Lucas Hernandez buying is better than Varane? I actually would take him just because he's younger. I would take him over Varane. People close to Ed Woodward say the intensity of the last 8 years has got to him and now it's time to quit. Ed Woodward has put PR spin on it. Ed Woodward has quit because Varane, Maguire, Shaw, Rashford have all had a go and they all don't want the Super League. And Ed Woodward getting greedy with the Super League lost him his fucking job. A sports lawyer said they will try for a Super League again in 3 years' time. They might adjust a bit, but the Champions League new layout is basically the Super League. I agree. We will discuss the Champions League's new layout. The new layout on the Champions League for me is a joke. The new layout on the Champions League is just a slightly nicer version of the Super League. It's slightly less dramatic. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Champions League new layout. And I think there will be a time when we protest that. We've protested the Super League. The Super League is over. We now protest to get the Glazers out. And we protest for football to return to normal. I think the 50+1 rule is great. But for us Man United fans, it's all about getting the Glazers out. So the 3 p.m. protest is so important. Again, this video was talking about Varane to Manchester United. This video is talking about Sancho and Declan Rice to Man United. Varane, Sancho and Declan Rice to Man United. They're all likely transfers. But what we want is the Glazers out. And they're saying it's going to cost $4 billion to get the Glazers out. If that is true and it's come from the Athletic that get information for the club, it's going to take a while to get rid of the Glazers. Yes, the Super League project has fallen. Yes, Ed Woodward is gone. Ed Woodward works with the Glazers. But we need to get the Glazers out. We got rid of Ed. We got rid of Mourinho. We got rid of a lot of people. Now it's time to get rid of the Glazers. We need to get Matt Judge, and the Glazers need to fuck off out of this club. Matt Judge and the Glazers need to fuck off out of this club. That's what I have to say. You know, we need to get the Glazers out, because as long as the Glazers are here, you know, United again problem. Ed Woodward is gone. We can party, as I said, we can party, we can celebrate that Ed Woodward has left Man United. But if the Glazers are still in charge, Ed Woodward's going to replace with Ed Woodward 2.0. You know, this guy's literally said Richard Arnold, the guy who's looking like to replace Ed Woodward, is Ed Woodward 2.0. Like, he's got no knowledge on football. He's just a businessman. The Glazers puppet. Absolute joke. Bring that David Gill, says the people. UEFA offered 6 English teams in the Super League a large sum of money to leave the Super League. The same offer was not made to the Spanish teams, who were seen as the association's enemy. I actually talked about this in my video the other day. Basically, the English teams were offered money by UEFA to leave the Super League, and actually the English teams, if in a weird way, might have profited from this stupid Super League thing. Mohammed bin Salman wants to buy Manchester United. Well, with $4 billion, and you could buy Man United. Let's get rid of the Glazers. But yeah. Just in, Manchester United's Premier League match against Liverpool will be played on May 2nd at 4:30 PMG by Simon Peach. Well, that's always interesting to know, because we're 34 likes away from 100 likes. So smash that like button. And the Saudis do have $4 billion to buy Man United. So if the Saudis are allowed to buy Man United, then we've got the Saudi owners. But the Saudis weren't allowed to buy Newcastle. Woodward spotted in Job Centre. That's jokes. Glazers out, not trending anymore. Don't forget what they did. That's the thing. There's this transfer news. There's a lot of positive news around Manchester United and transfers, but the Glazers are still in charge. You know, we could have a brilliant transfer window, but the next transfer window, I guarantee, will be shit if the Glazers are still in charge. We could have a brilliant transfer window to distract us. Man United could sign Haaland, Sancho, Kane, Rice, you name it, this transfer window, to try and distract us from the Super League. But I guarantee, as long as the Glazers are in charge, we'll sign one player next transfer window. Next, spend the £30 million. Ollie might get sacked. It won't be his fault. Do you get what I'm saying? Still awaiting punishment from UEFA in the Premier League and screws up. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a punishment for Man United, all the other teams that have joined the Super League, from UEFA, from the Premier League. There definitely will be a punishment for Man United. We don't know what United's punishment is. Will United be allowed to play in the Champions League next season? Like, that's a massive question. Will Manchester United generally be allowed to play in the Champions League next season? You know, that we are going to be punished for joining the Super League. You know, it doesn't really matter to play teams like Spurs and Arsenal that aren't probably going to finish in Europe, but Man United could finish second and not be allowed back in the Champions League. I think they will be, because City will welcome back in the Champions League with open arms. But there could be a points deduction for Man United. You know, Arsenal get a points deduction. Arsenal are relegated. That would be kind of jokes. That would be the best thing to come out of the Super League. Arsenal get relegated. Ed Woodward leave it. But there's definitely going to be points deductions and punishments for joining the Super League, which, you know, haven't really been spoken about much, but we will find out about them. With Greenwood's gameplay improved, I don't see Sancho to Manchester United worth 90 million. Greenwood's a striker. I think, you know, Cavani is leaving. I think you either get a striker, Haaland or Kane, probably priced out of that. I think you get Sancho and you get Greenwood as your striker. That's what I think. I hope we punish Real Madrid in the semis. Well, I'm rooting for Chelsea to win the Champions League now. Who are you guys rooting to win the Champions League? I'm actually rooting for Chelsea to win the Champions League. Because Florentino, Perez is a greedy money-grabbing bastard. Don't like Man City. Just PSG, aren't they? Woodward is cleaning the toilets in Tesco. That's what I like to see him doing, but he's got way too much money. He could probably retire, the twat. Kane, Sancho, Varane in one window, not at all. People's possible stop dreaming. Look, we can sign Kane, Sancho, all of them in one window, but the Glazers are in charge. You know, if you had to pick 50 plus 1, Saudi owners or 50 plus 1, what would you pick? Probably 50 plus 1, because we could have Saudi owners, but they could just be like the Glazers and actually not bothered. You know, you never know with new owners what they're going to be like. Wish we'd been in some people do like the Super League, but for me, I'm against it. Greenwood is an extincted number 9. He cannot be a right wing long term. There's no way anyone's going to pay 90 mil for Sancho. No. Sancho, I reckon United can get Sancho for a good 70 million. I generally think we can get Sancho for a good 70 million. I'm pissed with UEFA for giving Champions League places in terms of Champions League history recently. So Liverpool finished 6th for getting to the Champions League under the new system. It's a joke. It's just a less badly thought out version of the Super League. It's a joke. Do you know what? I don't like this. You know, Man United could be in the Champions League every year. That's good, right? No, it's not. Did this new Champions League thing, United could finish 10th and be in the Champions League, basically. Meaning that the only reason the Glazers invest in the squad is so we get top 4. If we're going to get Champions League pretty much every year because of our history in the competition, like, the Glazers have no reason to invest. We could finish 12th, we'll get top 4 because of our history. For me, the Champions League should be off who gets in the top 4. You know, if the Champions League is the top 6 now, if you know, if to finish in the top 6 for the Champions League, then Man United are going to be a 5th and 6th place team, fight for 5th and 6th. We're a team fighting for 4th. I'd rather be a team fighting for 4th than a team fighting for 5th and 6th. I do not like this new Champions League format. Saw some people say Glazers will make us great again just because of a letter. Well, they're just fucking twats, aren't they? Let's be honest. Pogba for Varane is a horrible swap. We need Pogba. He's the best midfielder in the world. I agree. Pogba on his day is the best midfielder in the world. But everybody, please hit that like button. I want to see if we can hit 100 likes. It'd be awesome if everybody hit that like button. Everybody watching hit that like button. But I'm going to read out a little bit more news before I end the stream. That one bit of thing that came out from the Daily Mail, so probably ignore it, said that players were shocked at how easily fans were able to breach security on Carrington on Thursday morning. You know, that news came out. I thought that was really interesting. There was obviously the Cavani's had a meeting. He's decided to leave Manchester United's basically come out. You know, there's going to be punishments for teams in the European Super League from UEFA. You know, Man United is still waiting their punishment. You know, sponsorships, how much money is Man United going to lose because of the Super League thing? You know, that's a big question. Obviously, Ed Aaron said UEFA are imposing sanctions on the 12 clubs involved in the Super League. And obviously, there was this big story that came out from Sky, which I actually want to share with you guys now. There's this big story that came out from Sky. And what I want to do is I'm going to share my screen with you guys, because you guys love when I share my screen, don't you? I haven't shared my screen all video. So this is the news from Sky. You know, we're not talking about transfer here. But one Premier League owner is supposed to be in tower and selling his club. Now, that's 1 in 20 owners. You could say 1 in 6. Maybe they're talking about one of the big 6. Hopefully, it's the Glazers. But again, 4 billion. 4 fucking billion to sign Man United. It's so unrealistic. Thank you very much for this comment, Shankar. I try and do daily content about Manchester United on this channel. So if you're new and this is like the first time you've ever seen me on your screen, I pretty much do daily Manchester United content. I do like the odd evening stream. And I do have a few videos going out in a day. Like, I might do an evening stream for a couple of hours or an hour or so. But during the day, I might literally upload a 5-6 minute video just to kind of update you guys. Tomorrow is going to be my match preview for Man United versus Leeds. 5:45 p.m. UK time tomorrow is my match preview for Man United versus Leeds. Big Ron says the big clubs want guaranteed income. They're not interested in demoncasting their Champions League. Yeah, sorry, I misread that. This is the thing. If Man United are allowed in the Champions League every year, no matter where they finish, it doesn't matter where we finish. I don't like the Champions League format. I don't like the Super League format because I think that just lowers United standards, because you don't need to get top 4 to be in the Champions League. So we're just going to be a 12th place team. You get what I'm saying? Who would you replace Cavani with realistically? I would replace Cavani with Sancho, which is not a like replacement. There's Kane, there's Haaland. But the reason I'd replace Edison Cavani with Sancho is because we need a proper right winger, and Greenwood and Martial can play striker. And for me, Greenwood is a striker. Pogba should sack Raiola over past comments made by him against Manchester. I agree. I hate Mino Raiola. Mino Raiola backs the Super League. That's what you have to say about Mino Raiola. Is he was one of those guys that was just back in the Super League. Like, Mino Raiola is a twat. If Sky is so confident, why don't they mention the club? I reckon they're just logically guessing. Yeah, you make a good point. I always go, why aren't you mentioning the club? Are they just logically guessing? Are they trying to get more clicks, get their views up? Are they doing a bit of clickbait? You make a very, very good point. Happy birthday to this person in the chat. But yeah, there's just so much news and stories regarding Manchester United at the moment. There's so much to talk about. Like, I wanted to do a video talking about this Varane news, but I didn't want the video to distract me from the fact that the Glazers are still in charge. You know, we can sign Varane, but the Glazers are still in charge. You know, that's the thing. I don't know what this stream is to talk about. It's to talk about Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward is gone, but if the Glazers are in charge of Man United, Ed Woodward's replacement will be like Ed Woodward. You know, we are linked to Sancho, we are linked to Rice, we are linked to Haaland, we are linked to Varane. We may as well sell them all, buy them all. I don't think we will buy them all. We've had a good transfer window, but does that make you forgive the Glazers? No. The only way I'm forgiving the Glazers is if they sell United on a free. Now, there's also this story that Bruno Fernandes will not sign a new contract at Manchester United, and Bruno Fernandes wants to leave Manchester United, but he's got a good few years left on his contract. So hopefully we can keep on to Bruno. But Bruno's a player, and this time next year we could be talking about Bruno Fernandes leaving Manchester United, which is completely worrying. We know Cavani's leaving. We know Pogba's probably going to leave. Imagine losing Bruno because of our fucking owners. Fucking joke. The Spanish clubs are skint. That is what's driving the Super League. The operation cost for big money, prize money, and all of that. Yeah, the Spanish clubs are skint. Obviously, this COVID, a lot of clubs are skint, and I think the reason the Super League was out when it was is because it's all about money, and a lot of clubs are skint, and that's the thing with United. is, Real Madrid have got to sell a few players. Barcelona have got to sell a few players. So, we are actually one of the teams in the best situations. But we're not in the best situation. We've got one of the worst owners in world football. But financially, believe it or not, we are one of the strongest clubs, which is kind of worrying with the Glazers in charge at the moment because of COVID and all that. Dortmund might not even make Champions League. They will sell Sancho, not Haaland. I don't think many clubs will go for Haaland this year because he's going to be 60 million next year. And I think if one of Sancho or Haaland's going to leave, it will be Sancho. I think Haaland would want to leave more. I think Haaland would push a move. I think they'll only sell one of Sancho and Haaland. But I think Sancho to Manchester United is very likely because I think Man United could get him for 70 million because Dortmund don't look like they're getting a Champions League. I'm actually going to Google the Bundesliga and tell you how is Dortmund going to get anywhere near the Champions League. Let me Google the Bundesliga for you guys. I know Dortmund did win the other day. They won 2-0 against Union Berlin. But Dortmund are 5th place, okay, with 4 points off 4th. So Dortmund in their next, I don't know how many games, 4 games? Dortmund in their next 4 games need to win them all and assume the team and Eintracht need to drop 4 points. So it's very likely that Dortmund will not get Champions League football, which means Sancho will be cheaper, which means Manchester United can get Sancho, which I find very, very interesting. I don't know what you guys' thoughts on that is. But I bloody love Manchester United to sign Jadon Sancho. I'm all over Man United signing Jadon Sancho. I'm one of Jadon Sancho's biggest admirers. This guy says the Premier League are seeking removal of Man United's Ed Woodward and Liverpool's Tom Werner from its club. I mean, Ed Woodward is gone, but yeah. I'm just clicking on a few chats before I leave. I still think we should sign a backup. You can't rely on young Greenwood and Martial. We relied on Greenwood and Martial last year before Cavani at striker. For me, that's my opinion. Everyone has opinions. Like a lot of people, understandably want Haaland and Kane. But if we saw Cavani, I'd go for Sancho and play Greenwood up top. I generally would because I think Greenwood could be one of the best number 9s in the world. And imagine service from someone like Sancho and Pogba and Bruno. Look, this is what I want to see. Declan Rice, Pogba, Bruno. Okay, Pogba and Bruno providing service. Rashford on the left, Greenwood up top, Sancho on the right. Sancho's obviously a very, very creative winger. That's what I'd love to see, and that's what I want to see next season. Will we see it? I can tell you, I'm not psychic. I actually did predict that. I actually predicted a year ago. There's a video I made about a year ago now saying I think Man United will sign Donny van de Beek. I said that Donny van de Beek is more likely than Jack Grealish because he's cheaper. I know what the Glazers will do. A year ago, I did predict that Man United would sign Donny van de Beek. Funny story. I will find that video for people that don't believe me. Bruno, 4th favourite to win the Ballon d'Or. I'd love Bruno to win the Ballon d'Or because it just piss off all the rival fans. The first email Man United received about the European Super League was confirming United were pulling out. Yeah, that was a story from The Athletic. 4 games left for Dortmund to get 4 points and Frankfurt to drop 4 points. That's between Dortmund and the Champions League. So they might not get it. But yeah, Sancho still wants the Champions League team. Man United are probably going to get Champions League unless we completely bottle it. I saw the new here in Japan today. Leicester City have the best owners and the Glazers are the worst in the Premier League. Leicester have brilliant owners. I'd love Leicester's owners. Sancho would commonly get 15, 20 assists. What a clever and unselfish player. Yeah, that's the thing is, if you look at both our wingers, so we play Cavani, Greenwood, Rashford. That's our front three at the moment. Greenwood is more of a goal scorer like Salah and a striker. Rashford's more of a goal scorer winger like Salah. We don't have a creative winger. So all our service, we rely on Bruno and Pogba to provide our strikers service. We completely rely on Bruno and Pogba. That's the fact. So I completely agree that, a player like Sancho on the right wing just means that you've got Sancho for service, you've got Pogba for service, you've got Bruno for service. We can create more. Obviously, we can create when we want to create, and the style of football Ole Gunnar Solskjaer plays makes us a less creative team. I completely agree with that. And my hair is so messy, it's kind of pissing me off. Oh well. But yeah, only 18 likes needed for 100 likes. We've got 30 people watching right now. So everybody watching that hasn't hit that like button, hits that like button. We can maybe hit 100 likes. And I end the stream when we get 100 likes, maybe. But let's hit 100 likes before the end of the stream. Everybody start smashing that like button. But there's just so much. But I think some people say Sancho's overrated. But for me, I'd take Jadon Sancho. I think he's almost underrated because he's not playing in England. If you want my honest opinion, I think Sancho is one of those players that's weirdly underrated. And I think with Cavani leaving, Sancho could happen. Obviously, West Brom are demanding £10 million for Sam Johnston. West Brom could get relegated. One of Henderson and De Gea was going to leave. It looks like De Gea is going to leave. Could we re-sign Sam Johnston as our backup keeper? And, there's a lot more news surrounding Manchester United and stuff. But if we're going to really talk about Man United transfers, because we've been talking about the Glazers and Woodward a lot, I think we're going to get money for De Gea. Man United are going to get money for De Gea. Cavani's going to leave. that Pogba realistically is going to leave. You're going to get 20 million for Eric Bailly. You're going to get 40, 30 million for Jesse Lingard. There's a lot of players that are worth a lot of money that could be leaving Manchester United this summer. Bailly 20 million, Lingard 30 million, that's 50 million, Pogba 50 million, De Gea 40 million. We've got almost 150 million pounds worth of player out if we do our business right. Varane, very easy for us to sign. Sancho, we can definitely sign, and we can use Jesse Lingard to get Declan Rice. It is possible. The Glazers want to apologise from us. They want to distract us. They almost want to win the fans back. That wouldn't surprise me if the Glazers, if they don't leave, do this whole PR spin, and we have a fucking brilliant transfer window. They'll try and use that to distract us from the fact. But I guarantee next year we'll have a shit transfer window. We are due a good transfer window. Even if the Glazers didn't do the Super League thing, Man United are due a good transfer window because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deserves to be backed. You know, Man United are due a good transfer window. Will we have a good transfer window? Who knows? There's stories that the Glazers are looking to sell, but the only thing is, Ed Woodward is gone. We can celebrate that Ed Woodward is gone. But as long as the Glazers are in charge, Ed Woodward will be replaced with another Ed Woodward. No, that is the thing. That is the thing. But yeah, I'm just having a look at some of you guys' live chats. But we're going to try and hit 100 likes on this video. So if everybody watching can hit that like button, so we hit 100 likes. You make such a good point. We need a creative player. Ollie forgets about his obsession with Haaland. Sancho 70 mil, get Andre Silva on loan with option to buy. Yeah, for me, you know, I'd love Erling Haaland, but I wouldn't spend our whole budget on Erling Haaland. There's Sancho, there's Rice, there's cheaper strikers, there's Koundé, there's Ndidi. There's so many good players out there. Woodward just thrown under the bus by the Glazers. No way he was going to leave if the ESL plan worked. Completely agree. Woodward would have stayed if the ESL plan worked because Woodward's company was behind it. Woodward was the driver. Woodward, Joel Glazers, and Florentino Perez were the three drivers of the Super League, and it didn't work, so fuck you. Well, not you. I'm talking to Woodward, the ugly prat. Pogba 50 mil, that's cheap. It's because he's got a year left on his contract that Pogba will go for 50 million. Adam Talk Sports says the 50+1 rule needs to happen. I completely agree, but it's going to be really, really hard to make that happen and kick the owners out, but hopefully we can find a way to make that happen. Maybe some petitions. I think everybody, you just got to go to that 3 p.m. Glazers out convention. I think that's what you've got to do. But yeah. What if he's replaced by Edwin van der Sar? I don't think the Glazers would get Edwin van der Sar in because Edwin van der Sar actually wants what's best for the club, not what's going to make the most money for the Glazers. So if the Glazers are in charge, Woodward will be replaced by Woodward 2.0, which is the sad truth. You know, we celebrated Woodward going, but someone just as bad could come in, and you know that's the sad, realistic truth that I think we do need to think about a little bit. Manchester United #1 target Konate has signed a contract with Liverpool. Yeah, I said this much earlier on the stream. Konate is going to Liverpool. Alaba has gone to Real Madrid. Varane is leaving Real Madrid, so it frees up Man United, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, and PSG. Now, Varane's going to cost money if he goes this summer. So, you know, Bayern Munich or PSG aren't that interested. The race for Rafael Varane is really between Manchester United and Chelsea. Now, Chelsea look like type of team that will focus their efforts on Haaland. Like, Chelsea's defensive record is brilliant. Man United are probably the team that most want Varane. We can always use Pogba and swap deal if we don't want to pay the money. Florentino Perez is a greedy bastard. He likes the Glazers. There's a high chance United could get Rafael Varane, but I think Man United getting Rafael Varane, it depends on if Varane wants to go to Manchester United. If Man United can get Varane, I generally think they will. It's just, will Varane choose to go to Manchester United? It's like Thiago Alcantara in Liverpool, which hasn't worked out brilliant, let's be honest. But if Man United want Varane, we could maybe get Varane, but it's all about if Varane wants Man United. Maybe he only wants Man United if it's high wages. A lot of Real Madrid players only go to Man United if it's high wages. I think Varane maybe wants Bayern Munich, maybe he wants PSG, maybe he does want Man United, but City aren't going for a centre-back. So, Woodward is in line to be the next toilet man. I completely agree. Woodward is a twat. The signing of Sancho would also improve the attacking side of Wan-Bissaka. I agree. I absolutely agree. I think Wan-Bissaka is definitely a player that I actually think will improve in the near future as well. I think Wan-Bissaka could be a Luke Shaw where he's defensively solid, but he just needs to improve his attacking game. Man, you can't relax unless you prefer good next games regardless. Yeah, the thing with Man United is Man United can't relax always. Got to prefer good for next games regardless of good result or not. Man United, we just need new owners, mate. We just need new owners. We need to get the Glazers out. That's why the Saturday protest is so important. If United shares are located in New York, so it's almost impossible. Yeah. Pogba ain't going Juve unless he takes a pay cut. Yeah, Pogba isn't going Juventus unless he takes a pay cut. Pogba could go in Real Madrid. Varane swap deal is a possibility. What about Icardi? He's one good striker, in my opinion, less expensive than Kane, Haaland. Yeah, you make a good point, but Icardi doesn't stick out as the type of player that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants. I think Icardi has attitude problems, and I think Man United are very big on attitude. The number one target has always been Haaland for Manchester United and Solskjaer. I agree, but we won't get him. It wouldn't surprise me if we did pull off a miracle and get Haaland. I don't think many people thought we'd actually be able to bring Pogba back because Ole's relationship with Haaland. But I think it would be. I don't think Haaland would want to come to Manchester United, realistically. The Carrington thing was only the start. I agree. 15 more likes to 100 likes, guys. So everybody hit that like button. If half of you watching hit that like button, 100 likes. So yeah, getting Van der Sar would make John Murtaugh's role go redundant. John Murtaugh's, John Murtaugh hasn't been thrown under the bus like Woodward and the Glazers, but John Murtaugh's job was to inform Ole of what's going on. John Murtaugh is no better than Ed Woodward in this situation in a weird sense. He's just been a twat for a couple of months. Ed Woodward's been a twat for a couple of years. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I have no idea what's going on. He finds out about it 10 minutes later to talk to the media. How disgraceful is it that our owners didn't even inform the manager, the players, what was going on? How disgraceful is that? Low, if we get Varane, I would pay Lindelof. I'd play Lindelof as a CDM. Fun fact, he started playing football as one. I mean, I'd like to see Tuanzebe play a little bit more as a CDM. People might want his opinion. Boris Johnson told a meeting of football fans, group of English fans, main governing bodies, that the government would drop legislation bond to prevent the Super League proposal going ahead. Is Boris going to try to stop there's news that Boris was secretly in on the Super League, but we don't know if that's fake or not. There's also news that Boris is going to stop the Super League and try and get a 50+1 rule in. But I think that's one of those I have to say for another day when more information comes out about it, because you just don't know what's fake news and you don't know what's real news these days. You really, really don't. Games coming fast next Thursday, crucial. Next Thursday's Man United Roma, absolutely crucial. Icardi, we don't want that drama of him and his wife. Just against that. Oh yeah, I remember that whole big drama. That's jokes. Owners owe us one big transfer window. They fucking do, but that we won't forgive them. Okay, to forgive the Glazers, they go and they go and sign us 4 massive players in the summer transfer window, and then they sell the club and leave it for free to really rich owners that are going to bring us back to the top, and we're going to win all the Premier Leagues, and we're going to knock Man City off their perch. That's how you forget the Glazers. Sell the club for free, buy us a shit ton of players, give us all your money, and die. Well, maybe not the die part. That sounds quite dramatic and quite rude, but you get my point. PL statement: the Premier League alongside the FA met with clubs today to discuss the immediate implications of the Super League. Yeah, that was the other day. We don't know if we're going to be punished. We don't know if we're getting a points deduction, but all I know is if we get a points deduction, Arsenal are getting relegated. Imagine Arsenal getting relegated. What fans? Thank you very much, Diego. Everybody subscribe to Alice Talks Football. If you're new, subscribe to Alice Talks Football. Tomorrow is my match preview to Manchester United versus Leeds, 5:45 p.m. time, UK time. I'll be uploading my short match preview for Man United versus Leeds. So sub for that if you want to see daily Manchester United thing. Adam says he doesn't think Murtaugh was informed. I don't know. I feel like Murtaugh knew. If Murtaugh wasn't informed, I'd actually almost be happy that he's not involved with them. But I think he probably knew what was going on, considering his role. Do Man United still have to play for top 6? Play top 6 teams for the end of the season? We've only got Liverpool in the top 6 left to play. Glazers will consider someone who makes money for them, someone like Ed Woodward, not Van der Sar. Completely agree. Facts. Apparently, the government warned Man City owners to stop the Super League, or else their relations with the country was at risk. Wow, though that's an interesting story. If Man City and Chelsea sort of the 2 teams to really pull out. Man City were the first to officially pull out. Maybe the government threatened Man City to pull out. Maybe they did. That'd be really interesting. But I think they were definitely pressured into pulling out. I think Man City and Chelsea's owners care about the club the most, but they were definitely pressured into pulling out. I'm going to end the stream soon, guys, because my mouth is so dry that I literally need a drink because I'm not going to be able to talk in a minute. My mouth is literally dried up. But as always, hit that like button, subscribe down below. Let me know your thoughts and all of that. But Haaland to Real or Barca probably not happening. Both clubs presented their debt with ESL going around. Yeah, make a point. UFA president, I read that one. I heard there will be no punishment. There might not be a punishment. UEFA might just be like, they're happy they're back. City should have had a 2-year Champions League ban. They got away with it with their lawyers. So, we couldn't use City's lawyers as Man United fans, so we might just get away with it all. Murtaugh was part of the Super League negotiations. I think he was, which is a shame. Just shows he's our new director of football. Is one of Woodwards, one of the Glazers, and all of that. But the Glazers need to sell. The protest aren't going to stop. Everybody remember, protest 3 p.m. Friday, massive. Yesterday night or whatever, a bit hard to remember things because lack of sleep due to news. Varane, 4 to United, 4 out of 10. Varane to United, there's a chance in it. I agree. I read out this story the other day. Yeah, I do. My water's downstairs. Like, I'd have to go downstairs, fill up the water, drink it. So yeah, Glazers out, Glazers out. But yeah, I'm gonna end the stream in a minute, but I'm gonna sum up the whole talking point of the stream because we've been going for nearly an hour and a half, and a few people have joined late. So this stream, we start talking about Raphael Varane to Manchester United. If you're new, Varane to Manchester United is a very, very almost likely deal in the sense that Varane will leave Real Madrid. Real Madrid have signed Alaba. Real Madrid are willing to let go of Varane. Florentino Perez says he will sign Varane. He will let go of Varane because he doesn't want to stay. Fabrizio Romano said that it's unlikely that Varane will stay at Real Madrid. Fabrizio Romano is a very reliable journalist. Man United are desperate to sign Varane. Chelsea are also interested in him. Konstantin Ecker said that Man United have opened talks with Varane. CFC Bayern, who is Christian Falk, says that Man United want Varane. Reliable journalists. Man United see Varane as a good partner for Harry Maguire. Varane to Man United is likely. It's just will Varane want to go to Manchester United? I think there's teams like Chelsea, Bayern, Munich, all of them also interested in Varane. I think Varane to Manchester United depends on if Varane chooses Man United. Could Pogba make him choose Man United? Could Pogba want to stay and convince Varane to come? That would be brilliant. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is Pogba Varane swap deal. We also talked about the Glazers maybe signing Sancho and Rice and having a big transfer window of all the players we want to distract us from the fact of this Super League. All I have to say to some of the streamers that the protests have to continue. The protests have to continue. Woodward is gone, but as long as the Glazers are here, they will replace Woodward with another Woodward. We need to continue the protests. We need to be passionate about our club. We need to get our Man United back. Everybody, if you can go to the protest, go to the protest. If you can put a tweet out, put a tweet out. We can't go quiet just because the Super League's off. We need to get the Glazers out. And if you want the Glazers to leave Manchester United, hit that like button. Everybody, thank you very much for watching the stream. Please hit that like button. Subscribe down below. Share this video. Share your thoughts. It means a lot. Everybody is tuned in. But Woodward's got to go. Glazers have got to go. Let's hit 100 likes. Like, subscribe, share. Thanks for watching. 5:45 p.m. tomorrow. 5:45 p.m. tomorrow on Alice Talks Football is my match preview to Manchester United versus Leeds. Remember that. Put that notification bell on. Subscribe, share, like. See you guys next time.